I have three specific points today. Specifically, I'm going to kind of give a little refresh on what Veterans Day is and how it came about. So Veterans Day celebrates and thanks any man or woman who served in uniform of every branch: Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Marine Corps, Air Force, and yes, now the Space Force. However, Veterans Day didn't begin as a celebration of all veterans. Instead, it was actually a celebration of the end of World War I and the veterans who served in that war. It was initially known as Armistice Day and was to celebrate all men who served on the front line for America in the Great War. The name Veterans Day doesn't come until under President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Now, something I didn't know, and learning about Veterans Day, even though I did a speech last year, I didn't know about it until this year, is I had always thought World War II had been the conflict that had caused the change from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. I actually found out that it was the Korean War that had caused the change. Over 1 million Americans served in the Korean War, and having three major conflicts since Armistice Day came about, they decided to celebrate all of them. But why is this important? Well, there are no World War I veterans alive today. The last American World War I veteran died in 2011. The last World War I veteran of any nation that served died in 2012. In effect, Veterans Day in America can and should serve as a memorial to these men specifically for bringing about this day. And then soon, no World War II veterans will be alive. There were over 1 million American World War II veterans 10 years ago. Today, there are only 167,000. This day, next year, there will be less than 100,000. And the year after that, less than 30,000. So, we need to remember the World War II veterans while they're still with us. And finally, there are over 1 million Korean War veterans with us still to this day. But similarly, in 10 years, there will be less than 200,000. And after that, less than 100,000. And so we need to remember these men too, because the Korean War is often forgotten. I forgot it. I love history, and I've studied American war history since I was 8 years old. And I didn't even know that it was the conflict that had caused the change from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. And so we need to remember these men while they're still with us.
Yes.
There are no World War I veterans. Soon there will be no World War II. And similarly, soon there will be no Korean War veterans. And so that's basically all I really have to say. That's a little history lesson. And hopefully we'll be able to remember those that are with us still a little better.
A little more history with that. I can remember as a child, we were still celebrating.
Armistice Day?
No.
We're going to have our patriotic song.